Since rebuilding my Lego room last year, I had quite a few people ask to do a room tour video. It seemed like a bit of a foreign concept to me, but people seemed genuinely interested in wanting to know how I stored all of my Lego, what my stream system looks like, how I set my stream system up, how I set up my monitors, lights and all the rest of it. So sit back, relax and let me take you through the Between the Bricks Lego room / studio. Okay, so as you come into the door on the left hand side, you can see up here I have the Batwing up on the wall. Now I do have to say that my Lego room is a bit of a work in progress and there is still some finishing that needs to be done. Up here in the corner here you'll see a couple of loose cables. They're looking a bit ugly at the moment. I haven't finished yet because I need to run one more cable out of that hole and around to my son's bedroom. But anyway, it comes in from our main internet access in the living room down here to a network switch which I have just sitting on the shelf. Also, that's where I store the tripods and my collection of Lego themed bags. Funnily enough, I have a few of them these days. This shelving unit here has been invaluable to me over the last 12 months or so. As you can see, it is a industrial styled shelving unit, and as you can see I use a lot of Systema 60 and 20 litre containers which fit perfectly on the shelves to store a whole bunch of loose and bagged sets. Up on the top shelf up here, just behind this container, is one of the mocks that I did for Elios, and beside that is the mocks that I did for Mario. Containers can have anything in them. This one's just a bit of a junk container, to be honest with you. I need to sort that out and get some stuff moved out of there. I've got a container up here which is all Mario stuff, my camera bag, and down here I have a box for Harry Potter, and there's all the current sets that will get built on stream in the nearish future. Coming down there I have another junk box which still yet to be sorted out. I have a lot of Lego banners as well from retail which I tend to use at Lego shows behind my displays. Another mock here, Elios Lighthouse from Overwatch. This box here is just random sets, I think. A Ninjago box, Christmas, old stuff, base plates, burps, 16 by 16 plates, random sets. That is all Nexo Knights, actually, that whole box. This is another way that I tend to sort my boxes, so I list all the sets that are in there and what I've done with them. Sometimes I loan the sets out to people and I need to keep track of that. This box here is all trains. This box here is all Arctic. Another box of Creator Expert stuff, mostly modulars in here. Another box of modulars. This is an entire box of polybags, actually. More trains. Not sure what this is, probably have to sort that box. City stuff, I think. More city stuff. This container is all vehicles, this is all just loose bulk. And then down the bottom I have trains, train track, 12 volt, and more trains. Down in there, more trains. I do have a lot of train stuff. And over here, I think that's all my electronic stuff in there. Star Wars box. And the last two boxes I have, not sure, be random sets and random sets probably. I don't have a lot of wall space, but here I do have some of my favorite images. All of these photos are done by a very talented photographer called Inkblot Photo. So this one here is from Hobbiton. It's one of my favorite places on the planet. In fact, I'm going back there next week for a visit. This one here was drawn for me by a friend by the name of Daniel, funnily enough, who drew that for me. And this certificate up here is extremely important because this is my life membership to WellLug, the Wellington Lego User Group, which was the lug that I created about 7 years ago now. So down on the floor I do have a mat in my Lego room specifically for my dogs, and this one here is Smudge. She is my beautiful Springer Cocker Spaniel cross. Say hi, Smudgy. This is the ugly side of everything. So this is obviously the back side of my computer desk. Now my desk I actually did build custom to fit all of my stuff on it. So down in here I built a bracket and glued and screwed it to the desktop to fit the monitor bracket to keep it back off the desk, so I had more room on the actual desk itself. I use a triple monitor mount, and this steel frame here was also another thing that I built and welded up, painted, and this is where I mount my overhead camera, and I can also mount other accessories up on here if I need to. One key thing for me in my space is to have my own router, so I can have my own network and I can run all my own programs off my own network, which is fantastic. And then up on the wall beside me is one of my favorite things, which is my Hobbit Minifig Collection. As you come around the back of the desk, around the far end, you come into the main area. I have a seat here for visitors, storage, and brickheads on this side. We'll get to that in a minute. But if we spin around and have a look at the actual desk setup. So my desk is electric. I can raise and lower it as I need to. It goes up to a full height of 1200 millimeters and down to a low height of 600 millimeters. My computer, I don't actually know the specs for my computer, but I did build it myself, and it functions perfectly well. I do use a Corsair keyboard, mouse and headset, and as you can see, I really do like my RGB. One of the key tools and highly recommended, I believe, is a Stream Deck, and it doesn't matter what size you get as long as you know how to use it. And then a good quality microphone, and as you can see I have a Rodsticks gaming microphone here, which I've dubbed the Mando mic. Cameras that I use, my face cam is currently a Logi 322, I think it is. It's average, to be fair. It's not as good as it could be, and I'll probably be looking to retire that one and get a new one soon. My overhead camera mounts on this magic arm over here, and it is the camera I'm using to record this current video, so I'll throw a picture up on screen now. I use 3 monitors, so I have one large monitor in the middle, which is a curved screen, which means the outside monitors do actually curve around as well. I have to put them in a vertical layout as opposed to a horizontal layout, simply because the arms just don't reach. So for my lights, I use 2 Elgato key lights, and I find these really useful because you can control the temperature and the brightness of lights individually. On the right hand side above the window, I have some minifigure display cases, and as you can see there, the first one that I have is all of the sig figs that I've got, and then I have both the Simpsons collection and one of the Halloween collections, I think it was, from a few years back. This is the only window that I really have that I can look out, and as you can see, I can just see into my back garden and lemon tree for making lemonade. So this shelf here I built myself. Originally it was actually to display trains, but somewhere along the lines the trains got taken off and the Brickheads collection got put up there. Underneath these shelves I have my bulk drawers, so this is basically where I store most of my bulk bricks. So things that don't fit in the smaller drawers generally just get tossed into these drawers. They are a bit of a mess. It is a little bit difficult trying to remember what's in them all, but you know, I sort of go through them relatively frequently. Up on top here, just the Chinese New Year Story of Nyan set, which I built on live stream just a few days ago. This is my box that I take to Lego shows and give bricks away and torsos away to fans. And over here I have the 2 bonsai trees that this one's mine that I built, and that one is the one that Nick Vass built on live stream here just a few days ago. So in some of these drawers I do store Lego parts. As you can see in this drawer it is all tiles, so each individual tile, 1x2s, 1x4s, 1x8s, 1x6, 2x2, 2x4. This drawer is just slightly different, so light bright orange, dark green, dark blue, dark tan plates, pink, and just big arches. So in these drawers, this is what I mean by bulk parts. So it's just a whole bag of 1x2 with clip on the end, a whole bag of 1x8 slopes, arches, and so on, and that just all the way down there. This one here is mostly just bags of masonry, and down here just a drawer full of trains, and the bottom drawer is full of boats. I do have a couple of Lego art sets up on the wall, and the license plate that I got for Well Lug when I was in Melbourne. It is just a novelty license plate, it's not one that I can actually put on a car. One of the key features of my Lego room is the back wall, and this is something that my wife and I actually built custom. Everything was built to size specifically to fit the drawers, and down the bottom here everything was built to actually fit these containers. I always wanted to have storage in the middle, with the focus being the Lego light. Now this Lego light actually came out of a shop. It was given to me by a friend, and it is one of my prized possessions, if I'm being honest. The shelving on this side was actually built to size to fit these specific items in them. Above and below the light, the shelves are that size simply because that was what was left over from the feature in the center. This side here is always meant to be for temporary models, usually what I've been building or working on recently. I do have a second shelf that can fit up in here as well, and I have made all of the shelves on this side adjustable, so I can move them up and down as need be. The top of the shelf just serves as a little bit of extra storage space. So I'm not going to get into the semantics of storage, because I think that's probably a whole nother video in itself, but this is essentially what I've settled on for my storage method. The ideal storage method for me is to have a part of a plate stuck onto the front. Now I have them on and they are just temporary. It's just base plate. Yes, it's been cut, but it's no big deal, it's just a base plate. And then I can put onto the base plate the parts that are in this drawer. Now what that correlates to is the layout of the drawer and what's put into it. I find that this method actually works really well. It makes it a lot easier to try and find the part. It definitely functions better than drawers with no markings on them at all. If you'll notice here, I put a white dot on the corner of a drawer if there is an empty space, and you'll notice that there is one empty space in that drawer. So if you're wondering what the inserts are, in New Zealand we have multiple different sized milk containers that are made out of a thin plastic. So I spent a long time just collecting those up and cutting the bottoms off, and that's essentially what I use. So this configuration has two different types of 2 litre containers. So this is the rectangle 2 litre and this is the square 2 litre. And if you notice in this drawer here, I have a 3 litre configuration on one side. So the 2 long ones are 3 litres, this one and this one. And these two here are 2 litre rectangles, and they fit perfectly into these drawers. Now for anybody in New Zealand who's looking for these drawers, they're called tourist drawers and they're available from the warehouse. Another type of storage that I use is these containers here, which came from Super Cheap Auto, and they come in different sizes and shapes. For these ones I particularly like the deep ones that have 8 compartments. And then at the very bottom I just have some more Systema containers, and I just store various things in these. Maybe it's a single color, or maybe it's a single bulk part. So on the left side of my room I have more storage drawers. These little grey ones here came from the warehouse, and I think you can get yellow versions of exactly the same drawers from Bunnings. These blue ones here came from Super Cheap Auto, and essentially these just fit the space, so I decided to keep them. I did put them on a backing plate of MDF and put a shelf at the top there. As you can see, that's where Diagon Alley is living right now. And I also keep a bunch of containers up here for sorting. These are just some leftover drawers. As you can see, I've attempted to label some of the drawers, but the downside is because I move stuff around all the time, I'm forever pulling labels on and off, which is why I prefer to do the base plate method. Underneath here I have another cabinet that is custom built for the space and for the size of the drawers. As you can see, I have a bunch of Lego Shop Pick-a-Brick cups there, which are fantastic for storage. At this end of the shelf is all of the stuff that I need handy for when I'm streaming or making videos. So these are all the subclouds that I use on Twitch, and each subscriber on Twitch channel gets put onto the subcloud of however many months that they have been subscribing for. This set of shelves and storage essentially is pretty much just overflow from what's on the back wall here. So that's it, that's my Lego room. Hope you enjoyed the tour. If you have any comments, please do leave them below. Let me know what you think of my room. Is there anything here that might influence you in doing your room? And do you have any advice for me on how I can make my space better? Thank you so much for watching, and please be safe out there. Keep building, and I'll see you on the next one.